Lucy Olsen's decision to join the Indiana Fever has sent shockwaves through the basketball world. A standout at Villanova and Iowa, Olsen has proven that she's one of the most dynamic guards in the game, and now she's teaming up with Caitlin Clark in Indiana. For those who have followed Olsen's career, this move makes perfect sense. She's a versatile scorer, a tenacious defender, and someone who can thrive in a fast-paced system. But what really pushed her to make this decision? A bunch of things went into it, but I think just with the women's basketball exploding right now, and there were so many opportunities, and I only had 1 year left, so it was kind of like, well, let's just see what could happen. In a recent interview, Olsen finally opened up about why she's joining the Fever, and her reasons are game-changing. She wasn't just looking for a team, she was looking for the right fit, and according to Olsen, Indiana checked every single box. She had offers from other teams, but something about Indiana stood out: the culture, the coach, and of course, Caitlin Clark. It was also around like finals time in school, so there was so much going on. I'm like, I don't want to pick up every single call because who knows how long these coaches are going to talk, and I'm going to run out of time, but I want to make sure I get back to everyone. So I was trying to figure out all that, and Coach Splitter called, and once I heard that message, I was like, oh my gosh, I have to call her back. That's crazy. Olsen has played against Clark before. She knows exactly what kind of player she is, and now she wants to be on her side, because let's be honest, there's no better guard to play alongside in the WNBA right now than Clark. Her passing, elite. Her shooting, unstoppable. Her leadership, already top tier. And for Olsen, that was too good of an opportunity to pass up. I wanted to go higher, play at in a big conference, but I didn't know who was going to call and who was going to want me or need me. Like, that's everything. So I just went into it like, all right, let's see what happens. And then, Iowa was one of the first she calls. She wanted to be part of something special, a team that's on the rise, a franchise that's building for the future, and most importantly, a place where she can thrive. And Indiana, they wanted her too. Coach Stephanie White has been building something serious in Indiana. With Clark at the helm, the Fever have completely changed their identity. They went from being a team that struggled year after year to one of the most exciting young squads in the league. And now, with Olsen joining the mix, they've added yet another high IQ player who can contribute immediately. But Olsen's decision wasn't just about basketball, it was about playing in a system that lets her be herself. At Iowa, she was known for her ability to control the tempo, score in clutch moments, and make big plays. And Indiana, that skill set is going to fit perfectly. Think about it. Caitlin Clark is one of the best playmakers in the world, but every great point guard needs a reliable backcourt partner, and that's exactly what Olsen is going to be. She can handle the ball, she can create her own shot, and she can stretch the floor with her three-point shooting. For Indiana, this is a massive win. They're already one of the most exciting young teams in the WNBA. And adding a player like Olsen, that takes them to a whole new level, because now they don't just have one elite backcourt player, they have two. And that changes everything. It means that Clark won't have to carry the entire offensive load every night. It means the Fever can run even faster, push the tempo, and turn games into track meets. And most importantly, it means they're building a team that can contend for years to come. But here's where things get really interesting. Olsen didn't just pick Indiana because of Clark. She picked them because she believes in what they're building. She knows this is a long-term move, not just a one-season experiment. And if there's one thing Olsen made clear in her interview, it's this: she's here to win. She's not just joining Indiana to be a role player. She's coming in ready to make an impact from day one. She's bringing her grit, her determination, and her ability to step up in big moments. And when you combine that with what Indiana already has, this team just got even scarier. Clark and Olsen are going to be one of the most dynamic backcourts in the WNBA, and with Natasha Howard, Aaliyah Boston, and Kelsey Mitchell holding down the front court, the Fever are looking like a serious playoff contender. And here's the thing, This isn't just about this season, it's about building a dynasty. Indiana isn't just trying to make the playoffs, they're trying to compete for championships, and when you look at what they've done over the past 2 seasons, it's clear they're on the right path. They went from being a bottom-tier team to one of the most talked-about franchises in the league. They've stacked their roster with young talent, and now with Olsen in the mix, they're even deeper, faster, and more dangerous. And Olsen knows exactly what she's walking into. She knows that all eyes will be on this team. She knows that the expectations are higher than ever, but she's ready for it. And when the Fever take the court this season, they're not just going to be another team, they're going to be the team to watch. Clark, Olsen, and the rest of the squad are on a mission, and from everything we've seen so far, it's going to be must-watch basketball. Olsen's decision to join Indiana was calculated. She didn't just pick a team, she picked a legacy in the making. And when you think about the way she plays, this move makes too much sense. She thrives in high-tempo offenses. She can score from anywhere on the floor. She's a nightmare for opposing defenses. And now, she's pairing up with the best playmaker in the WNBA. That's dangerous, because if there's one thing we know about Caitlin Clark, it's this. She makes everyone around her better. And with Olsen running alongside her, Indiana is about to take things to a whole new level. The rest of the WNBA better be paying attention, because this Fever team, they're coming, and they're coming fast. Olsen knew exactly what she was doing when she chose Indiana, and now, she's ready to show the world why it was the perfect decision. So get ready, because Caitlin Clark and Lucy Olsen are about to put the league on notice. Lucy Olsen's decision to join Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever is bigger than just another talented player finding a new home. It's the next step in what's quickly becoming one of the most dangerous teams in the WNBA. For the last year, all eyes have been on Caitlin Clark's transition to the pros, and rightfully so. She's been breaking records, shifting the culture, and bringing a new level of attention to the game. But what many people aren't seeing is that the Fever's front office has been strategically building something bigger. With every move they've made, the message has been clear. They aren't here to just compete, they're here to dominate, and Lucy Olsen joining this team, that's the next step in making it a reality. This isn't just about Caitlin Clark finally getting some help. This is about Indiana setting themselves up for years of sustained success, because let's be honest, Clark is a generational talent, but even the greatest players of all time need the right pieces around them. Michael Jordan had Scottie Pippen, Steph Curry had Klay Thompson, Magic Johnson had Kareem, and now, Caitlin Clark has Lucy Olsen. It's a partnership that's going to be electrifying, not just because of their skill sets, but because of how perfectly they complement each other. Clark is a high-volume scorer, an elite passer, and someone who commands attention every single time she touches the ball. Olsen, on the other hand, is the kind of player who thrives off high IQ basketball. She's a deadly shooter, a smart off-ball mover, and someone who can make defenses pay the moment they make a mistake. Think about how hard it already was to guard Caitlin Clark last season. Defenses had to throw double teams at her constantly, hoping that it would slow her down. But now, if you focus too much on Clark, you're leaving Olsen wide open on the perimeter, and that's not a mistake teams can afford to make. She's not just an extra option, she's an elite scoring threat on her own, and that's exactly what Indiana needed. They needed someone who could take some of the pressure off Clark, give her more space to operate, and force defenses to pick their poison, because let's be real, there is no perfect defensive strategy when you have two dynamic guards who can shoot, pass, and create their own offense. The Fever were already one of the fastest teams in the league, but now, they're about to become unstoppable in transition. Clark has one of the best court visions in the game, and now she has another backcourt partner who knows exactly how to run the floor. Imagine fast breaks where Clark is pushing the pace, Olsen is sprinting to the corner, and the defense has no idea who to guard. It's going to be a nightmare, but Olsen's impact isn't just going to be felt offensively. One of the biggest improvements Indiana needed this season was defensive toughness, and guess what? That's one of Olsen's strongest attributes. She's a relentless on-ball defender, someone who can apply pressure on the perimeter, disrupt passing lanes, and make life miserable for opposing guards. Last season, Clark was often forced to guard the opposing team's best backcourt player, which was exhausting, considering how much she already had to do offensively. But now, with Olsen in the mix, Indiana has more flexibility. Clark can focus more on running the offense, while Olsen takes on some of those tougher defensive assignments. And that's huge, because the less energy Clark has to spend fighting through screens and chasing around elite scorers, the more energy she has to completely take over games offensively. That's the kind of small but crucial adjustment that turns a good team into a great one. And let's not forget, this isn't just about Clark and Olsen. The Fever also added Natasha Howard, a veteran forward with 3 WNBA championships, to anchor their defense. Aaliyah Boston, their young star center, is only going to get better, and with Kelsey Mitchell continuing to be one of the most underrated scorers in the league, this team suddenly has depth, versatility, and a legitimate shot at making a deep playoff run. Olsen recognized all of this before making her decision. She didn't just want to play alongside Caitlin Clark, she wanted to be part of a championship-caliber team, and that's exactly what the Fever are building right now. But let's talk about the bigger picture, because this move isn't just about this season, it's about Indiana building a dynasty. Think about where this team was 2 years ago. They were at the bottom of the league, struggling to win games, and had zero national attention. Now, they're the most talked about team in the WNBA. They have the best young talent in the league. They're stacking their roster with smart additions, and they're setting themselves up to be dominant for years to come. And the best part, they're still not done. With the way Indiana's front office has been making moves, you can bet that they aren't satisfied yet. They're going to keep adding pieces, keep developing their young talent, and keep pushing toward one goal: winning championships. Olsen saw all of this, and she knew she wanted to be part of it. She could have gone anywhere. She could have chosen a team where she'd be the clear #1 option, where she'd get more touches, more shots, and more individual recognition. But instead she chose winning. She chose a system that fits her game perfectly. She chose a chance to play with the best young guard in the game, and most importantly, she chose to be part of something special, because make no mistake, the Indiana Fever aren't just building a team, they're building a legacy. And with Caitlin Clark leading the charge, and Lucy Olsen stepping in as the perfect backcourt partner, that legacy is about to take over the WNBA. Olsen's decision to join Indiana might just be the final piece of the puzzle. The Fever now have everything they need: scoring, defense, leadership, and depth. And with a coach like Stephanie White, who knows exactly how to develop young stars, this team is about to shock the world. The rest of the WNBA better be paying attention, because when the season starts, Caitlin Clark and Lucy Olsen are about to put the league on notice. And for Indiana, this is just the beginning, and that wraps it up. But before you go, let's take a moment to really appreciate what's happening here. Lucy Olsen's decision to join Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever isn't just another off-season move, it's a game changer. This is the type of decision that shifts the balance of power in the WNBA, the kind of move that pushes a franchise from being good to becoming a serious championship contender. Think about it, the Fever were already building something special with Clark, Aaliyah Boston, Kelsey Mitchell, and the recent additions of Natasha Howard and Sophie Cunningham. But now, with Olsen in the mix, this team is looking downright scary. We're talking about elite shooting, high basketball IQ, lockdown defense, and a backcourt that is perfectly designed to exploit every defensive weakness in the league. Defenses are already struggling to contain Clark. Now they have to worry about another high-level scorer and playmaker. It's almost unfair. So here's the real question. Is the Indiana Fever officially the team to beat in 2025? Are we watching the beginning of a new dynasty in the WNBA? Because if you're a Fever fan, you better get ready. This is just the beginning. Now I want to hear from you in the comments. What do you think about Lucy Olsen joining the Fever? Is this the missing piece for Indiana to take over the league? Drop your thoughts below, and let's talk about it. And of course, if you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss a single update on Caitlin Clark.